Hello, Kem Cho. I'm Jai Kumari from Heritage City of India, Ahmedabad. I welcome all of you to this new series which is known as Joyfully Accepting You. Now, what is the concept of this program? See, people like you and me who are normal people, we have average, normal, middle class life. But we all have few inspiring stories of our lives or incidents which can inspire others. And you never know what people are going through. So, this kind of one story can touch somebody. So, we are inviting people and we are providing this kind of platform where people come and share their life stories and experience which can inspire others. Nowadays, if you ask youth around that what have you studied, and they would say I have done engineering or MBA. Most of them would give either of the answer. And after completing their degree, they would sit and think, now what shall I do with this degree? There is so much confusion in their mind. Today we have a guest who is having so much clarity and who had so much clarity at his early age. He is having engineering degree, MBA degree. He got job offer from the best MNC of India. He served there and currently he is pursuing his passion, which is into creativity business. So let's welcome Khayal Dave. Thank you for
Yeah, thank
coming.
you. Thank you for having me.
Khayal is such a person who is having unique name as well as unique thinking. ખયાલ સૌથી પહેલા તો હું કહીશ કે તમારું નામ બહુ જ યુનિક છે. ઇટ ઇઝ ખયાલ. સો તમારું નામ કોણે પાડ્યું છે? કારણ કે આઈ હેવ નેવર હર્ડ સચ નેમ લાઈક ખયાલ.
મારા નામ પાડવાનો શ્રેય મારી મમ્મી પર જાય છે. સો એણે બહુ રિસર્ચ કરીને એ જમાનામાં 1990s માં બહુ રિસર્ચ કરી અને એક મ્યુઝિકનો ટાઈપ છે ખયાલ કરીને. સો એના ઉપરથી નામ પાડ્યું.
Can you share something from your life? Like what do you do and your introduction?
Yeah, so hi, my name is Khayal. Basically, I run a company called Khayal Dave Photography Services. We are into weddings, we are into fashion, we are into lifestyle. That is what we shoot, and we make films also, short films for the wedding purpose. And apart from that, what I do is like I do solo traveling. In the past 4 years, I have traveled to more than 25 states and 150 cities. So that purpose of doing solo traveling is to understand the country and to make my exhibitions much better. I had a solo exhibition 2 years back in Ahmedabad, and I'm planning for another one in Mumbai next year. So,
like, what was your experience after doing your BTech and your MBA, and you were also working in MNC? So, if you can share something from there, that perspective of your life.
most of the people when they pass 12, they don't know what to do. So most of them either joining into an engineering college or probably not different degree college. But the problem is that people don't learn in an engineering college because our education system is that you have to mug up so many things to get good marks, and the entire 4 years you don't do anything. So just like every during the engineering, I realized that I'm very fond of photography and very fond of art. So I built my skills in the 4 years of engineering, and then to learn more about the marketing and all, I went to join like one of the best B schools in India. But I just want to tell you one thing, that most people think that okay, after doing engineering and MBA, you are doing a photography, which is a completely different thing. You have wasted say 4 6 years of your life. But the thing is that you learn different things in different college and different aspects of your life. So when you are in an engineering college, you learn the analytical skills to develop your life, how to deal with a lot of things around analytical ways. You learn technology. And when you go to a B school or say an MBA school, you learn the business aspect and how to deal with people, how to talk to people, how to understand their requirements, how to understand the client.
So, Khayal, you share some inspiring stories of your life which would inspire others, listeners, or viewers of this program.
Yeah, so see, there are many life stories because as I told, I do solo traveling, and
Yeah.
my main purpose of doing solo traveling is not to have a very lavish life. I want to see the real India, and according to me, the real India doesn't fly in an airplane or doesn't go in a AC class. Most of the India travels in a local bus or a sleeper class, or maybe not in a sleeper class, but in a general class
True.
department.
Yeah.
So when I'm traveling, I kind of prefer a mode which is more economical so that I can talk to them and I can understand their stories, which will help me in writing stories because I'm currently working on some projects of writing assignments. And I read one of the stories which happened 6 months back when I was in Kashmir. So I visited Kashmir on 1st January 2021, which is 6 months before this. And this time, Kashmir faced the most chilliest winter ever. So like it was minus 15, minus 20 degrees, and almost all the flights were cancelled. Almost all the routes were cancelled. And the thing is that nobody could travel from Jammu to Kashmir or either ways. I was lucky enough to reach Kashmir on time, and after that, nobody could come to Kashmir. So it was a very great period for me because no travelers were there. Only 5 6 people around Kashmir, and they were understanding the beauty and talking to people around it. So here the learning was I had to come back on 15th because I had a shoot on 16th.
Okay.
So there was no flight. There was no, obviously there is no train route. So what I had to do was I had to walk for 16 kilometers on a mountain just to cross one bridge which was broken, and the military told that this bridge will take another 10 days to be repaired. So most of the people which I met, they were like, "We'll wait for the flight to resume, maybe after 5 days, 6 days, or maybe you have to pay double or triple or 4 times." But I was very adamant that I'll find my way on my own, and then I walked, and there were many people like me who was not really wanted to spend a lot of money, because just imagine that if you are coming from a middle class or say a lower middle class family and the flight tickets are 4,000 and they jumped it to 17,000 or say 30,000, you will not be able to spend it. Even though you have money, you will think that okay, I need to find a way.
Yes.
So that's how so the main learning from this is, at one time in Kashmir nobody could go to Jammu or nobody could go to Delhi just because the flights were not there. So even if you have 100 crores in your bank account, or even if you have 100 rupees in your bank account, you are stuck, and you need to understand that okay, this is the situation which life has given us. So you have to learn to adapt to that. So that is how traveling teaches you a lot of things.
It leads me to some questions like generally we have a concept that whenever you are traveling you should have a lot of money, and generally who are in their 20s, their parents won't allow them to go out and to explore the world, especially they're very protective about their kids and security of their kids.
I've seen this mainly in India, where parents are extremely protective about their child, that they don't take them to another different place, or they are very secure that they should not go out and learn things. But the thing is that when you go out, there are problems which you face on your own. Here, the problem is that when you go with a tourist or probably a travel company, everything is sorted from your food to your hotel to your logistic. Everything is clear, so you don't learn anything. So for you, if say if you do on your own traveling, there are a lot of aspects of life which you learn. So first, which you told that it can be a risky sometimes. Yeah, it can be a risky, but most of the time you see people are very nice across India also and across the world also. If you smile them at them, they will be very happy to share a lot of things. I have is very important when you travel. And second thing is that when you do this kind of traveling, it teaches you money management, which is very important in life.
As you travel a lot, can you share few incidences of your traveling? Let's say when it was a very risky or very scary situation which you faced, or some situation where like there was a so beautiful human connection and you had tears in your eyes. This two
Yes.
kind of events
Yeah.
or incidents.
So the thing is that when I was in Meghalaya, I was in 2018. I was in Meghalaya, and Meghalaya, you probably know that it's probably the one of the most rainfall happens in Meghalaya, and it's very pretty. It's in the northeast, right? So I wanted to go to a very famous waterfall, which was around 7 kilometers from the main city. So I walked for 3 kilometers, and then I thought, okay, let me find somebody who's going there, and I'll sit with them. But it was around 5 p.m. and most of the time Meghalaya sunset happens around 5:30.
Okay.
So I waited for say 2 hours, and nobody came. And then I thought, okay, let me go back, but there were no vehicle coming back also. So at that time it was very scary, just because I was not in the city. I was say a 3 kilometers. It's completely dark. You probably will not be able to go to the place because you don't know the way. There is no Wi-Fi going on. You can't call anyone. There is nobody. You don't have a map. So I was really scared that, okay, if this thing will happen, I will not be able to go to my destination with very easy access. After an hour or so, I find some guy who was coming from the bike, and he asked me to drop to the place. So at the end of the day, I have noticed that thing in my 150 cities, that sometimes you face a problem, but at the end of the day, somehow you have the courage and you have the ability to solve the problem. You will not stuck for their entire life, but somehow it's a difficult phase, which is there. And another incident which you told me that had a tears in my eyes was I was in Banaras. Banaras is probably you know that the most ancient city of the world. So it's like 1,000 years of age, and it's amazingly positively vibe and all. So when I was in Banaras, you will see when you sit on the ghat, there are lots of people who cry because of the Ganga is there. So in Indian mythology, you understand that Ganga is very sacred, and if you take a dip in Ganga, you will directly go to the Nirvana phase and all. So I went to see Banaras, and I saw a guy crying. He was like very tall and all. So I saw him crying, and it's very awkward to see somebody who is 6'5" or 6'6" crying very badly. We have not seen a lot of people. So I just asked him, and he shared me his entire life story that today is the day when he is coming to the Ganga to have the prayashit and all. So it was very touching that how a person with this much of strength is so weak from inside, and he is telling the entire story to a person who probably he doesn't know, or probably after 10 days he will not going to remember. But yeah, that is the beauty of travel. When you go,
So, so that was a experience where people connect so well with you, even though language is not barrier in this kind of situation, right? When you connect with the other person through your heart, and it is very touchy that that guy shared his entire story of his life with you. Now, second thing that you would like to share from your life, uh, please tell us that story.
yeah, so mean as I told, I was in MBA. I had done MBA, and then I joined a very famous MNC, which is very prestigious. The thing is that most people, when they join an MNC or probably a big company, they don't think beyond that. For them, once you join a very huge package company, so probably you are earning in lakhs, and then you don't have any option. So you work for the entire life, and then the life finishes. That is how people's approach is. So when I joined the company, I was not very inclined to working there. I was a manager. I had a team to manage and all, but I was not really loving the job. To be very honest, I was good at the job, but it was not very challenging. It was very easy work, and at the time of my life, I want some challenge in my life, and I wanted to do something which is more concrete and more creative enough. So I had a plan in my mind. So what I thought was, my photography business was going well in my town, Ahmedabad. I was in Pune at that time when I was working. Shoot a wedding, for me, every client is special. Their need is special. So for I have to be 100% attentive to every client. So even if it is a X amount they are paying, or if they are paying 10x or they are paying 100x, for me, everybody is special. So somehow that really charges you up, because every day is challenging. Because if I'm shooting a wedding today, tomorrow I'm shooting a fashion model, tomorrow the next day I'm shooting a travel blog, or the next day I'm writing a assignment. So it's very different every day. So that I wanted in my life. So I didn't take a overnight risk. So most people, what they realize is Most people, like currently nowadays, they leave the job and then they think, okay, oh, what should I do? See, that's not the pattern.
Yeah, because
When
there
you
are
are,
so much. Sorry to interrupt, but because of the media and social media, where you see that you follow your passion, they are inspired by those words, and suddenly they would take this decision that let me follow my passion. I'll just resign from my job, and then I will do whatever I want to do or pursue my passion. So, what kind of advice do you give to this kind of youngsters who are in this kind of dilemma, whether I should continue with the job or I should follow my passion?
as I was told, it should not be an overnight risk. You should think about it perfectly. So even if you're working as in a job, if you're working for say 10 hours, spend the rest 4 or 5 hours to pursue your passion, to try to improve it, try to monetize it. See, at the end of the day, if we speak anything, at the end of the day, you have to earn money, you have to
Support
earn
yourself.
bread butter.
Yes.
Yeah,
Correct.
you have to support yourself. If you are doing a passion and you are not earning any penny, then probably after 2 years you have to stop the passion and then you have to go back to the work.
Mm.
So when you're working in the company, work for say 5-6 hours on your craft and see if you can do the craft for the entire life. See, if not entire life, say a 10-year period or say a 15-year period.
Mm.
I'm not very sure that everybody can be like, okay, I'll do this till my death. But still, if you can do it for 10 years, then it's also okay. Because
Yeah.
what happens currently is due to this social media and media, see, photography and art and music is very cool. So people think that, okay, let me go in a field which is very cool and it will have a very easy life. You will like go to the beach and shoot people and then earn money, earn lakhs. It's not the case. The case is completely different here. You have to be very passionate about the work and also organized also. The money is not flowing, okay? Then ask people that whether you are good in the field or not. See, most of the time the you will ask people from your family and then ask them, okay, whether I'm good or not. They'll say a good thing about you, because in India we don't have constructive criticism. Everybody around you will not say bad things about you on your face, because they'll think, okay, the guy will feel bad or something. But when you go and ask some random people or probably unknown people, then they'll tell you that, okay, you are not very good in this business, try and do something else. And even in job also, you measure your growth. A job is not a 10 to 7 there some doing work and then come back. If you're learning something and if you're very passionate, that a job is the most amazing thing. But if you're not, then you should take a risk in the earlier years, because once you are say a 35 or say a 40, you will not be able to completely switch the industry. In your teens or probably 30s, it is more easier for you, because you can reduce your amount of spending and then start a new business or start a new thing. So that's I want to tell, that don't jump into it. Ask somebody that whether what should I do. You can intern with some photographer or say an artist to understand the small details about the craft, because just jumping that means that you don't have anything. You don't have a money source or you don't have an art source. How will you survive, right? So that is very important, which you should keep in mind.
So, Hayal, you rightly pointed that in your early years of your life, in your teens only, you should start exploring for different things which will inspire you, or which will, let's say, you can pursue that as a career. But in our Indian setup and Indian society, parents and that kind of environment, it is difficult that you get that much amount of time to explore your hobby or your passion. So, what kind of advice would you like to give to the parents of kids or to youngsters, so that youngsters can also explore things like you in their early age of their life, and so that they can take mature decision whether he should be in job or in his own business, or he can do both the things parallelly. So, what is your advice to the parents?
Yeah, so what I suggest is the parent should be aware of what is currently going on in the market. When your child is say 8 year or 10 years, you should know what is currently going on. Then you see what your child likes. Some people like studying, some people like sports, some people like music, some people don't like to do anything because they have not cleared. So just give them some time to explore different things. Don't burden them with a lot of things which they are not good at. Just second thing is that If you're sending them, tell them that, okay, this is not just only for fun. Try to make sure that you can do something with that. So just learning painting will not help you in life if you want to pursue it in future. You have to take it to another level, just so that you can, that their idea should be to explore different things when they are young. So before 18, the child should know, okay, I have done this, and I really like 2-3 things, and then after 18 I'll try to pursue that. Here the case is that at 20 you don't know what to do, because you have not done anything on your own, but you have just followed the same pattern. That should not happen, because really in our times there were not resources available, right? Like currently you have Google, currently you have a lot of websites which at our time or probably at your time there were very few. So like you have to consult with your friends or say a relative or probably to the school to ask them, okay, if I have scored this much amount of money and I want to join an arts college, what are the different segments or what are the different fields I want to say. So that is a thing. And second thing which I want to tell, which I always tell, try to send your kid away from you in the early area of your life. What happens in Gujarat, which I have seen, when the child crosses 10th, we tend to believe that, okay, 11th should be happening in the place nearby. If the child goes to different city, he'll learn a lot of things. He'll meet a lot of people. Here, the thing is that most people will spend the entire life in one place, and they'll try to meet the same number of 40 people throughout the entire life, and they'll try to learn from them. That's not the thing. No, the world is bigger. The world is outside of your city. So when you send them, they learn a very small things like micromanagementing life, how to, you have to make your food on your own, which is a very important life skill in nowadays, I feel. So that's how.
Yeah. So that is very good suggestion, because in this era when we have this much advanced technology, so even though your child or your kid is in a different geographical location, maybe in different state or maybe in different countries, but you can always be in contact with them on video call. So previously it was difficult, but now it is technology is a blessing for all of us. So you can be in contact with them, how they are doing and how they're. But when we travel across the world, or when we go outside our comfort zone, then we grow. So
yeah, that's all.
That's true. That's true. Okay, so Khayal, these two incidences of your life, the first one which was solo traveling experience, and the second one which was the decision which you took calculative risk of letting go your MNC job and parallelly working while you were in job, parallelly working and following your passion and earning. You started even earning money, and then you took that decision that now I should leave my MNC job and I should focus on my career. Anything else you would like to share from your life, Khayal? Because you travel a lot, you met so many people, and you were traveling in shoestring budget. So that is something. If you can guide youth of today, that would be inspiring for them.
Yeah, so as many people say in our generation, is that for traveling you need a lot of money, or probably I will travel once I have a lot of money, or probably I will travel once I am 50 when I have a lot of money, and I'll go to say a Europe or say a US and I'll explore my country. That's not the reality. Okay, just imagine that you are 55, you have a lot of money, you have say crores in your bank account, but you are not physically really challenged. You are like not physically able to go to a different place. You will not be able to walk that much. So what I always suggest is, if you want to travel, you can compromise on certain things, right? So what I compromise mostly on staying in a lavish hotel. So I don't see, just for an example, if I go to Goa, I'll not stay in a Hyatt or I don't stay in a Lalit. I stay in a small cottage or probably a bunk bed or probably a small hostel, so that I can save the money and I can use the money in exploring Goa. I have seen a lot of people who goes to Goa and just stay in the resort for a week and then come back and they say, I went to the Goa. You have not been to the Goa, you just been to the resort. Yeah. So that's the one first thing which I want to tell you, that traveling doesn't need money. Traveling just need the passion and just need the calculation. There are a lot of websites which give you a lot of discounts. There are a lot of travel agents who gives you a lot of discounts on flights if you want to go in flights. I'm not suggesting everyone should go like my way, but flights also there are certain period which is cheaper than the normal period. If you like book a flight a month back and if you book a flight 1 day back, there's a lot of difference in that. So that's the first thing. And second thing, uh, try to have a routine that I'll travel once a year or say twice a year so that you can go out from your routine. So I've seen a lot of people who are working in a job, they don't get time to travel because they will be like, I have only 15 leaves, and that 15 leaves goes in different festivals of India, and then I don't have time to travel. And now I am fed up of my job and I want to quit. When you travel, say 5 days a year or 6 days a year, you probably bring in a different energy to your work also. That also helps.
True.
You don't really have to travel very far, but probably say a different state or probably a different city which has completely different vibe than you, so that you can be very energetic in your life, and that doesn't require a lot of money. If you just save your money entire life, you'll not be able to use it because nobody else will go and take the money when you are dying. Okay, so try to use the money wisely and calculatively so that it helps you. For an example, if I traveled to Kashmir for 15 days and my budget was probably lesser than most people's flight budget. Okay, so that's how you travel.
You rightly pointed that when you are young, you can live in any kind of situation and you can manage the way as you rightly mentioned. So that is a good suggestion for youngsters, all the viewers, youngsters. If you are watching this, this is really good advice from Khayal. Program. Now, you are quite young, but still, as you have explored so many aspects of life, and you have explored so many dimensions of life. Um, what is your Jivan mantra which keeps you going every day in your life? What is the mantra which you follow?
See, the one mantra which I always follow is do what you love. Okay, that is the only mantra which I really believe in my life. So my entire 24 hours should spend on something which I really love. I don't do anything which I don't like. If I want to go and have food, I only eat what I really love. I don't eat food which somebody is asking me to eat. That's very simple. I know that is not very possible for everybody, but try to do that, because the thing is that, see, the life is very fickle. You know that currently we are living in a COVID situation, or even if normal also, you don't know what is going to happen tomorrow or probably in like 1 hour after that. So just live your life to the fullest, but that doesn't mean that you spend lavishly and that you go all around and be a bankrupt. No, I'm just saying that be a calculative life, live a calculative life. If you're spending something here, try to reduce it from somewhere, because we are not born rich. We have to make our career. So first thing is that try to live on your own, and second thing is balancing is very important in life. So the thing is that if you are spending so much time in one thing, just make sure that you settle that another thing also, because a day or two just to sit down, understand your thoughts, write your thoughts, and then you travel to other people. Same way with your work also, most people don't get they're saying that they don't get time for themselves. They are on calls for say 8 9 10 hours, then they make food, then they eat, then they sleep. The entire day finishes. Monday to Friday they work, Saturday Sunday they party, and then another new week comes. So they don't have time for themselves also. A self-love is very important in current aspects, because we know that there are so many problems going on. Health issues are there, monetary issues are there. Nobody's job is secure currently. If you see, most people have lost their job, most people have health problems. You don't know whether you are going to be there in the third wave or probably after that. So that is a very different thing. So just to make sure yourself happy, it's very important to do what you really like. If you cannot do 24 hours, just make sure that you do once 1 hour a day. If you like to sing. Don't ask people that whether I'm a good singer or whether I'm a bad singer. Just go to some place and sing so that it relaxes you up. Okay. So I'm not good in certain things, but I still do it because I really enjoy it. It's not so I cook. I'm not the greatest chef ever, but I really like it, so I do that. That's how you make yourself happy in your life.
Yeah. So maybe you said maybe we are not excellent in that, but it is our therapeutic way of relaxing ourselves, so that you can regenerate after some time, after doing this kind of activities which you like doing, let's say cooking.
Yeah.
That was, yeah, that was our conversation with Youth Icon Khayal Dave. And thank you so much, Khayal, for accepting my invitation to come on this program, joyfully accepting you. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank you. Pleasure. Yeah, thank you.